He gave me an unlimited credit card, but I used it to finance my escape, and he didn't notice I was standing in Terminal 4 at JFK Airport at 6:45 on a Tuesday morning, boarding pass trembling in my hand, when I allowed myself to look back one last time, not at Gregory. He wasn't there. He had no idea I was leaving. I was looking at the woman I used to be. The woman who would have been terrified to be here. The woman who would have asked permission. The woman who didn't have a single dollar in her own name. That woman was gone. I adjusted the Burberry coat on my shoulders, $2,400, bought with his black card 3 weeks ago. Grabbed the handle of my Tumi carry-on at $100, purchased on Cyber Monday under Christmas shopping. Everything I was wearing, everything I was carrying, had been paid for by Gregory Jensen, my husband, my jailer, my soon-to-be ex, and he had no idea any of it was about to happen. I smiled. Not a big smile. Just a small, satisfied curve of my lips. Because here's what Gregory never understood. When you give someone an unlimited credit card to control them, you're also giving them the perfect tool to escape. He gave me that card to keep me dependent. To track my every move. To question my every purchase. I used it to buy my freedom. And he didn't notice until it was way too late. Before we get into how this happened, if you're enjoying this story, please hit that subscribe button. Stories like mine need to be told, because financial control is abuse, and nobody talks about it enough. Thank you for being here. Now, let me tell you how I got to this airport. Let me take you back 8 years. I was 34 years old, living in a small one-bedroom apartment in Queens, working as a freelance graphic designer. I wasn't rich, but I was doing okay. Making about $75,000 a year, enough to pay my rent, save a little, travel once a year. I had my own health insurance, my own car, my own life. I was happy. That's when I met Gregory Jensen at a networking event in Manhattan. One of those wine and cheese things where everyone pretends to care about your business card but really just wants to talk about themselves. Gregory was different. Tall, well-dressed, confident in that Wall Street way where you just know the guy makes serious money. He worked in private equity, whatever that meant. I knew it meant expensive suits and business trips and the kind of salary that made my $75,000 look like pocket change. He zeroed in on me within 10 minutes. You're a designer. That's fascinating. I have zero creative ability. I barely know how to use PowerPoint. He was charming, funny, asked questions about my work like he actually cared. By the end of the night, he'd asked for my number. Can I take you to dinner? Somewhere better than this. He gestured at the cheap catering spread. I know a place in Tribeca you'd love. I should have seen it then. The subtle control. I know a place. Not do you have a favorite restaurant. Not what kind of food do you like. But I didn't see it. I just saw a successful, handsome man who was interested in me. We dated for 6 months. He took me to restaurants I couldn't afford. Bought me jewelry just because. Flew me to Napa Valley for a weekend and proposed at a vineyard at sunset with a ring that probably cost more than my car. Marry me, Carol. Let me take care of you. You deserve so much more than you're giving yourself. I said yes. Of course I said yes. We got married in June 2014. Small wedding, 50 people. Mostly his friends and family, but expensive. Gregory insisted on doing it right. The venue alone was $30,000. Don't worry about the cost, he said when I hesitated. I've got it covered. This is our day, our day. His money. I should have paid attention to that distinction. The control started so gradually, I didn't even notice it was happening. 3 months after the wedding, Gregory came home from work with a suggestion. Carol, I've been thinking. You work so hard. All those late nights with client revisions, chasing invoices, stressing about the next project. What if you took a break? I was editing a logo at the kitchen table. A break? Yeah, a real break. You don't need to work. I make more than enough for both of us. You could travel, take classes, paint. Whatever you want, just stop grinding yourself into the ground for clients who don't appreciate you. Gregory, I like my work. I know you do. But wouldn't you like it more if it was a hobby instead of a necessity? If you could take on projects you actually love instead of ones you need to pay rent. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my shoulders. Let me take care of you. That's what husbands do. That's what I want to do. It sounded romantic. It sounded generous. It sounded like love. So I said okay. Maybe just for a few months. Just to recharge. I stopped taking new clients that week. I never started again. Within a year, Gregory had consolidated all our finances. It's easier this way, he explained, sitting at our dining table with a stack of papers. I'll handle all the accounts, pay all the bills. You just focus on enjoying life. No stress. But I should at least have access to the accounts. Of course you will. I'll give you full transparency. We'll review everything together every month. He never did. Every time I asked to see statements, he'd wave me off. Everything's fine. Trust me. I do this for a living. So I trusted him. The joint checking account we'd opened when we got married. He moved all the money into a new account in just his name. Better interest rate. My old savings account from before the marriage. I tried to access it one day and discovered it was closed. I consolidated it into our investment account. More efficient. My credit cards. You don't need those anymore. I added you as an authorized user on mine. Much simpler. Within 18 months of marriage, I had 0 accounts in my own name. 0 credit cards, 0 income, 0 financial identity. I had become financially invisible, and I didn't even realize it until it was too late. My friends started disappearing around the same time, slowly, subtly, one comment at a time. I don't know, Carol. Don't you think Natalie is kind of negative? Natalie was my best friend from college. We'd been close for 15 years. She was a divorce attorney, successful, independent, funny as hell. Negative how? She's always complaining about men, about her job. I just think she brings you down. You seem stressed after you see her. I'm not stressed, you are. I can tell. I just want you to be happy. The next time Natalie texted me to grab drinks, Gregory had plans. I got us reservations at Daniel. It's impossible to get a table there. You don't want to cancel on me, do you? I didn't cancel on him. I canceled on Natalie. Then it happened again, and again. Eventually, Natalie stopped texting. My other friends from design school, Gregory didn't like them either. They're jealous of you. Of us. Of what we have. Why surround yourself with that energy? My family in Oregon. Your mom is so dramatic. Every conversation with her is an hour of complaints. And your brother Carol, he's always asking for money. It's exhausting. We stopped visiting. Calls became emails. Emails became texts. Texts became nothing. By 2018, 4 years into the marriage, I talked to my mom maybe once a month. My brother, even less. Natalie. I couldn't remember the last time. My social life consisted entirely of Gregory's work friends and their wives. Women who smiled and nodded and talked about renovations and charity galas, and never, ever asked questions like, "Are you happy?" I was isolated. Completely. Totally. And I still didn't see it. In 2020, Gregory gave me the black card. American Express Centurion. The card with no limit. The card that screams, "I have more money than you can imagine." He presented it to me over dinner at home. Candlelight. Wine. The whole production. "I got you something." He slid the sleek black card across the table. "What's this?" "It's yours. No limit. Buy whatever you want. You deserve the best, Carol, and I want you to have it." I picked up the card. It was heavy metal. My name embossed in silver. Carol Jensen, not Carol Matthews. My maiden name was gone, even on plastic. "Gregory, this is too much. Nothing is too much for you, seriously. Clothes, jewelry, spa days, whatever makes you happy. I want you to enjoy yourself." It felt like generosity. Like love. Like he was giving me freedom. I didn't realize it was a leash until later. The first time I used the card, I bought $200 worth of books at Barnes & Noble. That night, Gregory came home with his laptop. "Hey, I saw a charge for $200 at Barnes & Noble today. What did you buy? Books. You said I could buy whatever I wanted. I did. I just want to know what you're spending money on. For budgeting purposes. You said no limit. There's no limit. I'm just curious. $200 is a lot of books. It was 6 books, Carol. I'm not saying you can't buy them. I'm just saying I like to know where our money goes. That's responsible financial management. Our money, not my money. Our money. Money he earned. Money he controlled. Money he was letting me borrow. The next week, I got my hair done. $120 at a salon in Tribeca. Gregory saw the charge that night. $120 for a haircut. It's Tribeca. That's normal there. It just seems excessive. There are salons near us that charge $60. You said buy whatever I want. I did. I'm just saying. We should be mindful. Even with my salary, we're not made of money. Like I contributed anything. Like I had any say. Every purchase came with a question. Bashawu lunch at a cafe. Who were you with? $47 at Target. What did you need at Target? $23 Uber. Where did you go? I started keeping mental notes before I used the card. Preparing explanations. Justifying purchases. The card with no limit had an invisible price. My privacy, my autonomy, my dignity. I was being watched, tracked, questioned, all through a piece of black metal with my name on it. In March 2022, 8 years into my marriage, I ran into Natalie Fisher at Whole Foods. I was buying groceries, organic produce, expensive cheese, the kind of food Gregory liked when I heard my name. Carol Matthews. I turned. Didn't recognize her at first. Then it hit me. Natalie. She looked the same. A little older, same confident energy, same sharp eyes. Oh my God, it's been how long has it been? I did the math. 7 years. Maybe. 7 years. She shook her head. Carol, you look ... different. I knew what she meant. I'd changed. Lost weight. Gregory liked me thin. Dressed differently, expensive clothes. Designer labels. The uniform of a successful man's wife. Styled my hair the way Gregory preferred. Long, straight, blonde. I looked like I belonged on the Upper East Side. I looked nothing like the woman Natalie used to know. Different good. I tried to smile. Different, polished. Wow, look at you. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Do you want to grab coffee? Natalie asked. Catch up. I'm free right now. I should have said no. Gregory didn't like Natalie. Gregory would ask where I was if I was gone too long. Gregory would see the charge at the coffee shop and want to know who I was with. But something in me, some tiny, forgotten part of the old Carol said yes. Sure, yeah, let's do it. We sat at a Starbucks, 2 blocks away. Natalie got a latte. I got a black coffee. Gregory said too much milk made me bloated. So, Natalie said, stirring her latte, tell me everything. What have you been up to? I gave her the script, the one I'd perfected over 8 years. I'm good, really good. Gregory, you remember him? We got married in 2014. He works in private equity. We have a beautiful apartment on the Upper West Side. I stopped freelancing a while back, just enjoying life, traveling, taking it easy. Natalie studied me over her cup. You stopped working. Yeah, Gregory makes plenty. I didn't need to keep grinding. Do you miss it? Design, did I? I couldn't remember the last time I thought about it. Not really. I'm happy. Are you? The question hung in the air between us. Of course I am. Gregory takes care of everything. I don't have to worry about money or bills or Carol. Natalie set down her cup. I'm a divorce attorney. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I see this pattern all the time. My stomach tightened. What pattern? Financial control. A man convinces his wife to stop working, takes over all the accounts, gives her a credit card but monitors every purchase, isolates her from friends and family, makes her dependent, and calls it love. That's not Gregory. Isn't like that. Does he question your purchases? I didn't answer. Does he control the bank accounts? Silence. Do you have any money in your own name? I felt my face get hot. It's not like that. He's just organized. He's good with finances, Carol. Listen to me. That's not love. That's control. And it's abuse. Abuse. Gregory doesn't hit me. He's never even raised his voice. Financial abuse is abuse. Just because there are no bruises doesn't mean it's not real. I stood up. My hands were shaking. I should go. Gregory's expecting me, Carol. Thanks for the coffee. I walked out, left Natalie sitting there, drove home in silence. That night, I lay in bed next to Gregory. He was already asleep, snoring lightly, and I replayed Natalie's words. Financial control, isolation, dependence. No, that wasn't us. Gregory loved me. He took care of me. But as I stared at the ceiling, I couldn't stop one question from echoing in my mind. When was the last time I did something I wanted to do? When was the last time I bought something without explaining it? When was the last time I felt free? I didn't have an answer, and that terrified me more than anything Natalie had said. Quick break here. If this story is resonating with you, if you've ever felt controlled by someone who claimed to love you, please subscribe to this channel. These stories need to be heard. Financial abuse is real, and it's more common than you think. Thank you for supporting this journey. Now, let me tell you what happened after that coffee with Natalie. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to Gregory, listening to him breathe, staring at the ceiling of our $4,200 a month apartment, an apartment I couldn't afford on my own, in a building where my name wasn't even on the lease, and I couldn't stop hearing Natalie's voice. Financial control, isolation, dependence. That's not love. That's control. No, she was wrong. She had to be wrong. Gregory loved me. He bought me things, took me to nice restaurants, gave me a credit card with no limit. But then why did I feel like I was suffocating? The next morning, Gregory left for work at 7:15, like always, kissed me on the forehead. Didn't ask how I slept. Didn't notice the circles under my eyes. I'll be home by 7. We have that dinner thing with Travis and Rebecca tonight. Wear the blue dress. The one I got you last month. Not would you wear. Not I love that dress on you. Wear the blue dress. A command. Casual. Automatic. Okay, I said. He left. The apartment went silent. I sat at the kitchen table with my coffee black. No sugar. The way Gregory said was healthiest. And I pulled out my phone. Opened my banking app. Except I didn't have a banking app anymore. I'd deleted it 2 years ago when Gregory said I didn't need it. Everything's in my app. I'll show you whenever you want. I tried to remember my login. Couldn't. Tried to reset the password. Security questions I didn't remember setting up. Phone number that wasn't mine anymore. Gregory had put both our phones on his corporate plan. Better rate. Locked out of my own bank account. No, not my account. There was no my account. I had nothing. I pulled up my credit report instead. Something I hadn't looked at in years. It took 20 minutes to verify my identity. Another 10 to download the PDF. I stared at the screen. 0 credit cards in my name. 0 loans. 0 accounts. Just one entry. Authorized user on Gregory's American Express. Not even the account holder. Just ... authorized, like a teenager on their parents' card. I was 42 years old, and I had the financial footprint of a dependent child. My hands started shaking. I set the phone down before I dropped it. When did this happen? How did I let this happen? That night, we went to dinner with Travis and Rebecca Montgomery. Travis worked with Gregory, another private equity guy, mid-40s, loud laugh, expensive watch. Rebecca was 39, petite, always perfectly dressed. We met them at some Italian place in the West Village. White tablecloths. Wine list thicker than a phone book. The kind of place where appetizers cost $30. Gregory ordered for me. He always did. She have the branzino, and we'll share the burrata to start. I hated branzino. Too many bones. But I didn't say anything. I never did. The men talked about work, deals, numbers. Rebecca and I smiled and nodded and sipped our wine. Then Rebecca said something that made my stomach drop, so I started working again, just part-time. 10 hours a week at a boutique PR firm. Travis laughed. She's bored at home. Can't help herself. I'm not bored, Rebecca said, a little defensive. I just like having my own money. My own projects. Something that's mine. Gregory set down his wine glass. Carol doesn't need to work. I take care of her very well, don't I, honey? All eyes turned to me. Yes, I said quietly, you do. See? Gregory smiled at Travis. Happy wife, happy life. The key is making sure they don't have to stress about anything. Travis raised his glass. Lucky girl. Rebecca looked at me across the table. Something in her eyes. Pity, concern. But don't you miss working, Carol? You were a designer, right? She's retired. Gregory cut in, laughing. Retired at 42. Living the dream. I mean, if she wants to work, Rebecca started. Why would she want to? Gregory's voice had an edge now. Subtle. But I heard it. She has everything she needs. Women who insist on working when they don't have to are usually just insecure. Trying to prove something. Carol's secure. Confident. She knows what's good for her. The table went quiet for a second. Then Travis laughed, breaking the tension. Gregory's got a point. If Rebecca could just relax and let me handle things. I like working, Rebecca said, firmer now. I like having my own income. My own identity, that's not just Travis's wife. Gregory leaned back in his chair. Independent women end up alone. That's just reality. Carol's smart. She chose partnership over ego. He squeezed my hand. Smiled at me. Like he was proud. Like I was a well-trained dog. I smiled back. Because that's what I did. That's what I'd been doing for 8 years. But inside, something cracked. Women who insist on working are insecure. Carol's smart. She chose partnership over ego. Independent women end up alone. I excused myself to the bathroom. Locked the stall door. Sat down on the closed toilet seat. Put my head in my hands. When was the last time I made a choice? A real choice. When was the last time I did something because I wanted to, not because Gregory approved? When was the last time I felt like myself? I couldn't remember. And that's when I knew Natalie was right. This wasn't love. This was control. And I didn't know how to get out. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in 7 years. I called Natalie. I waited until Gregory left for work. Waited until I heard the elevator doors close. Then I grabbed my phone hands, shaking, and pulled up her number from the Starbucks receipt she'd written it on yesterday. 3 rings. Natalie Fisher. Nat. It's Carol. Pause. Then, softer. Carol. Hey, you okay? No. My voice cracked. No, I'm not okay. You were right. About everything. I need help. Where are you right now? Home. Gregory's at work. But Nat, I don't have anything. No money. No accounts. Nothing in my name. How do I leave someone when I literally own nothing? Carol, listen to me. Are you safe right now? Is he hurting you physically? No, he's never touched me. It's not like that. It is like that. Just a different kind. And we're going to get you out. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that? I wiped my eyes. Yes, good. Here's what we're going to do. Can you meet me somewhere today? Somewhere Gregory won't see you. Like where? Coffee shop, Midtown. Somewhere busy. 1 hour. I'm bringing someone you need to meet. Way CPA, forensic accountant. His name is Stephen Park. He specializes in financial abuse cases. He's going to help us figure out exactly what you're dealing with. And then we're going to build you a way out. Natalie, I don't have money for a lawyer. For an accountant. I don't have money for anything. First consultation is free. We'll figure out the rest later. Carol, can you get out of the house for 2 hours without Gregory knowing? I thought about it. Gregory was at work. He wouldn't call until lunch. Yes, I can do that. Good Starbucks on 52nd and 6th, 11 a.m. Don't be late, Natalie. Yeah, thank you. Thank me when you're free. I met Natalie and Stephen Park at 11 a.m. sharp. Stephen was early 50s, Korean American, wearing a simple gray suit and wire-rimmed glasses. He looked like someone's nice uncle, calm professional, kind eyes. We sat in the back corner, away from the crowd. Stephen pulled out a legal pad. Carol, I'm going to ask you some questions. They might be uncomfortable, but I need complete honesty. Everything you tell me is confidential. Understood? Yes. Good. Let's start with income. Do you work? No. I stopped freelancing 8 years ago. Why? Gregory asked me to. He said he made enough for both of us. Stephen wrote something down. Do you have any bank accounts in your name? No. Credit cards. I'm an authorized user on Gregory's American Express. Any joint accounts? Joint assets. The apartment is in his name. Both cars are in his name. I don't have anything in my name. Stephen looked up from his notes. How much does Gregory make annually? I think around $850,000. He's a VP at a private equity firm. Stephen wrote that down. And in the 8 years you've been married, have you ever seen tax returns, bank statements, investment accounts? No. He says he handles all that. Does he give you access to accounts if you ask? He says he will. But then he's always too busy. Or he says everything's fine, and I don't need to worry. Carol. Stephen set down his pen, looked at me directly. What you're describing is textbook financial abuse. Your husband has systematically isolated you from any financial resources. You have no income, no assets, no accounts, no access. If you tried to leave him today, you'd have nowhere to go, and no money to get there. I know, I whispered, that's why I'm here. Natalie squeezed my hand. We're going to fix this. But Carol, it's going to take time. And it's going to require you to be brave. Really brave. Can you do that? I thought about Gregory. About 8 years of asking permission. 8 years of explaining every purchase. 8 years of becoming smaller and smaller, until I almost disappeared. Yes, I said. I can do that. Stephen pulled out another sheet of paper. Okay, here's the situation. Illinois is an equitable distribution state. That means in a divorce, marital assets are divided fairly, usually 50-50. Gregory's income, his 401k, the apartment, the cars are marital assets. You have a right to half. But I don't have money for a lawyer. For a divorce, we'll get to that. Stephen tapped his pen on the pad. First, we need to build you what I call an escape fund. Money that Gregory doesn't know about. Money you can use to pay for legal fees, a new apartment, moving costs. Everything you'll need to leave safely. But how? He monitors the credit card. He questions everything I buy. Exactly. He monitors it. Which means he sees your purchases. But Carol, does he question every purchase? I thought about it. Not all of them. If I buy clothes or groceries or stuff for the house, he doesn't really care. It's only when I buy something unusual that he asks, right? Because those purchases fit his expectation of what you should be spending money on. Stephen leaned forward. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to keep spending money on normal things. But you're going to be strategic about it. I don't understand. Gift cards. Stephen smiled slightly. You go to Nordstrom. You buy $500 in clothes. You also buy a $500 Nordstrom gift card. Gregory sees 2 charges from Nordstrom. He doesn't question it because you shop there all the time. Then you sell that gift card online for 85 to 90 cents on the dollar. You just made $425 in cash that Gregory doesn't know about. My mouth fell open. Is that ... is that legal? Perfectly legal. You're an authorized user on the card. The card is for marital expenses. Gift cards can absolutely be marital expenses. And what you do with those gift cards after you buy them, that's your business. How long would it take to save enough? How much do you need? I had no idea. I don't know. Enough for an apartment deposit. First month's rent. Legal fees. Stephen did some quick math. You'd need at least $20,000 to $25,000 to do this safely. Security deposit and first month on an apartment, moving costs, legal retainer for Natalie, my fees. If you can get $500 to $1,000 in gift cards a week, Without arousing suspicion, you could have $20,000 in 5 to 6 months. 6 months felt like forever. But it also felt possible. And Gregory won't notice. Not if you're smart about it. Mix the gift card purchases with real purchases. Vary the amounts. Vary the stores. Make it look like normal spending patterns. And Carol Stevens' voice got serious. You cannot tell anyone about this. Not your mother. Not your friends. No one. If Gregory finds out, he'll cut off the card. Or worse. Worse how? Natalie answered. Men like Gregory don't like losing control. If he suspects you're planning to leave, he might escalate. Financially, emotionally, even physically. We've seen it before. A chill ran down my spine. You think he'd hurt me? I think we don't take chances. You build your fund quietly. You keep playing the role he expects. And when you're ready, when you have the money and the plan, you leave fast and clean. No warning. No second chances. I sat back in my chair, trying to process all of this. 6 months of pretending. 6 months of playing the obedient wife. 6 months of using Gregory's own credit card to finance my escape. It felt wrong. Deceptive. But it also felt like the only way out. Okay, I said finally. Tell me exactly what to do. That night, Gregory came home at 7:30. Hey babe, how was your day? I was making dinner. Salmon, asparagus, quinoa, the healthy food Gregory insisted on. Good quiet. I went shopping. Yeah, I saw. $340 at Bloomingdale's. My heart jumped. But I kept my voice steady. New dress. And some skincare stuff. The serum you like. That's a lot for skincare. It's the La Mer one. You said I should take care of my skin, right? Okay. He kissed the top of my head. Smells good. I'm starving. I plated the salmon, poured his wine, sat across from him at our dining table like I had 1,000 times before. But this time was different. Because tucked in my purse in the bedroom closet was a $100 Bloomingdale's gift card that I'd bought along with the dress. Tomorrow, I'd sell it online for $85. And I'd just taken the first step toward my freedom. Gregory would never even know. The first gift card I bought was $100 at Bloomingdale's. I sold it online that night for $87. $87. That's what my freedom started with. It felt like nothing. It felt like everything. I opened a new bank account the next day. A small credit union in Brooklyn that Gregory would never use. Somewhere he had no connections, no friends on the board, no corporate accounts. I took the subway, there paid cash and walked in with my driver's license and $87 in 20s. The teller was maybe 25. She smiled at me like this was routine. Opening a savings account. Yes. Initial deposit. $87. She didn't even blink. Just typed it in. 10 minutes later, I walked out with an account in my name. Just my name. Carol Matthews. My maiden name. The name I'd given up when I married Gregory. The account number was written on a slip of paper in my purse. The only thing I owned in the whole world. Over the next 6 months, I became an expert in invisible theft. That's what it felt like, theft. Even though legally, I had every right to use that card. Even though Stephen assured me this was completely legitimate, it still felt like I was stealing. But then I'd remember Gregory's face at that dinner. Independent women end up alone. His hand squeezing mine like a warning. And I'd buy another gift card. I started small, careful, testing the waters. $100 gift card at Nordstrom when I bought a pair of shoes. $200 at Whole Foods mixed in with groceries. $150 at Sephora with my skincare order. Gregory reviewed the credit card statement every week like clockwork, sitting at his desk in the home office, laptop open, going line by line. What's this $340 at Whole Foods? Groceries for the week. I bought that organic meat you like, and we were out of the good olive oil. $340 seems high. It's New York, Gregory. Everything's expensive. He'd nod, move on. Never questioned it further. Because to him, these were normal purchases. Expected purchases. The kind of spending a wife in Manhattan should be doing. He had no idea that buried in those charges were gift cards I was converting to cash. I got bolder. Started buying gift cards at different stores, Target, Best Buy, Home Depot, places Gregory wouldn't expect me to shop, but that didn't look suspicious on a statement. Home Depot. What did you buy at Home Depot? Storage containers for the closet. You said you wanted me to reorganize. Oh, right. Good. I sold the gift cards online through resale sites. Lost 10 to 15% every time, but I didn't care. Cash was worth the loss. I deposited everything into my Brooklyn account. Never more than $500 at a time. Never at the same branch twice. My secret account grew. Slowly, steadily. Stephen Park called me once a week, always from his office. Never to my cell. Gregory could see my call log. I'd meet him at his office in Midtown. Tell Gregory I was having lunch with one of the wives. He never questioned it. Carol, I've been doing some digging into Gregory's finances, Stephen said during our third meeting. He had a folder open in front of him. Documents, spreadsheets. Your husband is worth significantly more than you thought. How much more? Investment accounts total about $2.3 million. That's separate from his 401k, which has another $890,000. The apartment's current value is about $1.2 million. 2 cars combined worth maybe $140,000. I did the math in my head. That's over $4 million. $4.53 million in total assets. And Carol, Illinois, is an equitable distribution state. You're entitled to half of everything accumulated during the marriage. Half? That was over $2 million. I'd been living with a multimillionaire, asking permission to buy shampoo. Can he hide it? The money. He can try. But I'm very good at finding hidden assets. And the fact that you're gathering documentation now, before you file, gives us a huge advantage. I left Stephen's office that day feeling something I hadn't felt in 8 years. Power. I started buying things that weren't just gift cards. A laptop, MacBook Pro, $2,800. I want to get back into photography. You said I should have hobbies. Gregory didn't even hesitate. That's great, babe. I'm glad you're finding things to do. I didn't tell him I was going to use that laptop to rebuild my design portfolio, to start freelancing again, to become independent. New clothes, expensive clothes. Clothes I could resell on Poshmark for 60 to 70% of their value. $1,200 at Bergdorf. I need professional clothes for those charity events you keep taking me to. You're right. Good thinking. I was using his money, his card, his arrogance, and he was approving every transaction. September 2022, $16,800 accumulated. Natalie started preparing divorce papers. We met at her office, proper attorney-client meeting. She had forms, documents, legal pads covered in notes. I need you to understand what's going to happen when we file, she said. Gregory is going to lose his mind. Men like him, men who control everything they don't handle losing control well. You think he'll fight it? I think he'll try. He'll claim you wasted marital assets. He'll try to prove you were planning this, and that's evidence of bad faith. He'll drag it out as long as possible, because the process is part of the punishment. My stomach tightened. How long? Could be 6 months. Could be 2 years. Depends on how hard he fights. But Carol, we have something on our side. What documentation? Stephen's forensic report. The fact that you have 0 assets in your name. The fact that Gregory has been financially controlling you for 8 years, that plays very well in front of a judge. When should we file? When you're ready to leave, not before. The second we file, Gregory gets served, he'll know, and you need to be gone before that happens. How gone? Out of the apartment, out of his reach, somewhere safe with a plan in place. We file, he gets served at work. You're already moved out before he even knows what hit him. I nodded slowly. Okay. I need more time, a few more months. Take the time you need. But Carol, Natalie's voice got serious. Once we do this, there's no going back. You're either in or you're out. No second guessing. No going back to him because you feel guilty or scared. Are you in? I thought about 8 years of asking permission. 8 years of shrinking. 8 years of being controlled. I'm in. I found an apartment. Studio in Hell's Kitchen. 6th floor walk-up. 450 square feet. $1,800 a month. It was tiny. It was old. The bathroom had pink tile from 1987. It was perfect. I didn't tell the landlord I was married. Didn't tell him I was leaving my husband. Told him I was a designer moving to the city for work and needed something fast. He ran a credit check. I had no credit, but I had cash. I can pay 6 months up front. He raised his eyebrows. You have $10,800 cash. I do. When can you move in? December 1st. We shook hands. I signed the lease. Carol Matthews. My maiden name. For the first time in 8 years, I had a place to live that wasn't controlled by Gregory. Gregory's family came to our apartment. His parents, his sister and her husband, his brother, 12 people total. I cooked for 3 days. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, pumpkin pie, apple pie. Everything from scratch because Gregory's mother had opinions about store-bought anything. We sat down at 3 p.m. The table was perfect. The food was perfect. I'd been playing hostess since dawn. Gregory's father, said Grace. We started eating. I was cutting my turkey when Gregory looked at the credit card app on his phone. Carol, I looked up. His voice had an edge. Yes. Why is there a $480 charge at Amazon from Tuesday? Everyone stopped eating. 12 pairs of eyes turned to me. Books, I said quietly. I bought books. $480 worth of books. It was a series, 10 books, and a Kindle case. I said you could read. I didn't say you could spend $480 without asking me first. His mother cleared her throat. Gregory, dear, it's Thanksgiving. No, Mom. This is important. Carol doesn't work. She doesn't contribute financially to this household. Every dollar she spends is a dollar I worked for. And I think I have a right to know why she needs $480 worth of books when she barely reads the ones she has. My face burned. I couldn't look at anyone. I'm sorry, I whispered. I should have asked. Yes. You should have. He set down his fork. Maybe I need to set a spending limit on that card. Clearly unlimited was a mistake. His sister tried to change the subject. The turkey is delicious. Carol, I'm not done. Gregory looked at me. What do you do all day? Carol, you don't work. You don't have kids. I pay for a cleaning service. What exactly are you doing that makes you think you can spend $480 without even texting me? I felt tears starting. Fought them back. I said I'm sorry. Sorry isn't the point. The point is respect. Respect for the fact that I work 60 hours a week, so you can sit at home and order books online. His father finally spoke. Son, that's enough. It's Thanksgiving. Gregory picked up his fork. You're right. I'm sorry everyone had to see that. Let's eat. Everyone went back to their plates. Awkward silence. I excused myself. Went to the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the edge of the tub and cried as quietly as I could. $480 worth of books. That's what broke me. Not the 8 years of control. Not the isolation. Not the financial abuse. $480. And being humiliated in front of his entire family. I pulled out my phone. Opened my banking app. The secret one. $23,400. I had $23,400 in my escape fund. I had divorce papers ready to file. I had an apartment waiting for December 1st. I was done. Gregory went to his office. Black Friday deals. Babe. Might pick up a new TV. The second he left, I opened my laptop. Logged into my secret email account. The one Gregory didn't know about. Email from Natalie. Papers ready to file. Say the word. Email from Stephen. Asset report complete. Gregory has $4.53 million. You're entitled to $2.265 million. Email from the landlord. Apartment ready, December 1st. Keys available November 30th. I stared at the screen. This was it. The moment. The decision. I could back out. Delete everything. Keep playing the role. Keep living in the nice apartment with the man who gave me everything except freedom. Or I could take the leap. I typed one word to Natalie. File. Then I opened a new tab. Amazon. Started filling my cart, but not with books this time. Cyber Monday. November 28th. I waited until Gregory went to Boston for a business trip. 3 days. He'd be gone until Thursday. I sat at the kitchen table with the black card in my hand. One last time. One last big purchase. Everything I'd need to disappear. I clicked through checkout screens like I was buying groceries. Airline ticket to Portland, Oregon. Visiting my mom for Christmas. $650. 3 Tumi suitcases. I need new luggage for the trip. $2,400. Christmas presents for my family, actually. $5,000 in gift cards from Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and Saks. I'd convert them to cash this week. Total damage, $8,050. The confirmation email hit my inbox at 11:47 a.m. Gregory would see the charges. But not until his statement closed on December 3rd. By then, I'd be gone. That night, I lay in bed in the apartment I'd be leaving in 3 days, and I let myself feel it. Not fear, not guilt, not doubt, relief. Pure, overwhelming relief. I'd spent 6 months playing a role, 6 months being the obedient wife, 6 months using Gregory's own weapon against him, and in 3 days, I was going to do what he never thought I'd have the courage to do. I was going to leave. With his money in my pocket and his control in ashes. Chapter 4. The Escape. Approximately 2,000 words. December 20th, 2022. Tuesday morning, 7:15 a.m. I stood in the kitchen making coffee while Gregory got ready for work. He came downstairs in his navy suit. The Tom Ford one. $3,200. I knew because I'd seen the receipt. I'm heading out early. Big presentation at 10. Good luck. He kissed me on the forehead. Didn't look at me. Just grabbed his briefcase and walked out. I heard the elevator doors close. Counted to 100 in my head. Then I pulled out my phone and sent a text to the number I'd saved under cleaning service. He's gone. You can come now. 3 minutes later, my phone buzzed. On our way. 20 minutes. I walked through the apartment one last time. This had been my home for 8 years. Our home. Except it was never really ours. The lease was in Gregory's name. The furniture was bought with Gregory's money. The art on the walls was chosen by Gregory. Nothing here was mine. Except the things I was about to take. The movers arrived at 7:40 a.m. 2 guys, late 20s, professional, discreet. I'd found them through Natalie, a company that specialized in situations like this. Fast, quiet, no questions asked. What are we moving, ma'am? I showed them the list I'd made. 3 suitcases of clothes, my laptop, a box of personal documents, birth certificate, passport, college diploma, photos from before Gregory. My jewelry, the pieces my grandmother had given me, not the expensive stuff Gregory bought to show off at dinners. That's it. That's it. What about furniture? Kitchen stuff. Nothing else. Just what's on the list. They got to work. I walked through the bedroom. Opened Gregory's closet. His suits hung perfectly. 50 of them, maybe more. Color coordinated. Organized by season. I pulled out my clothes. Not all of them. Just the ones I'd bought in the last 6 months. The ones I could resell. The expensive stuff. Left behind all the clothes Gregory had chosen. The dresses he liked. The shoes that hurt my feet. The designer labels that were supposed to make me feel valuable, but only ever made me feel bought. By 11:30 a.m., the movers were done. The apartment looked almost exactly the same. Like I'd just stepped out for the day. But my closet was half empty. My side of the bathroom was bare. The drawer where I kept my documents was cleaned out. I was erasing myself. Slowly, carefully. Where are we taking this, ma'am? I gave them the address in Hell's Kitchen. 6th floor. Apartment 6C. We'll have it there in 2 hours. I handed them $400 in cash, from my escape fund. Thank you. They left. The apartment went silent. I stood in the living room, looked around one more time. Then I walked to the kitchen table and took out the envelope I'd been carrying in my purse for 3 days. Set it down in the center of the table, right where Gregory would see it when he came home. My goodbye letter. I met Natalie and Stephen at Natalie's law office in Midtown. Conference room, glass walls, view of the skyline. This was real. This was happening. Natalie had documents spread across the table, pages and pages of legal text. Carol, these are the divorce papers. I need you to read through everything before you sign. Take your time. I skimmed, really. My hands were shaking too hard to focus. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Irreconcilable differences. Equitable distribution of marital assets. It was all there. Everything we'd been planning for 6 months. What happens when I sign this? Tomorrow morning, a process server will deliver these papers to Gregory at his office. He'll be served around 10:30 a.m. during his workday. Public place, lots of witnesses. He won't be able to make a scene, and then he has 30 days to respond. He'll hire a lawyer. They'll argue about asset division, spousal support, all of it. But Carol, we have documentation. Stephen's forensic report. The fact that you have 0 assets in your name. The fact that Gregory has been financially controlling you for 8 years. Stephen spoke up. I've prepared a full report. 47 pages. Every account, every investment, every asset. Your lawyer is going to use this to argue for 50% of everything. What if he fights it? He'll fight it, Natalie said. Men like Gregory always fight it. But Carol, the law is on your side. Illinois is very clear about equitable distribution. You were married for 8 years. You stopped working at his request. You have no separate property. You're entitled to half. I picked up the pen, signed my name on every yellow tab. Carol Matthews. My maiden name. The name I was taking back. There's one more thing. Natalie slid another document across the table. Restraining order. It's precautionary. If Gregory tries to contact you, threatens you, shows up at your apartment, this gives you legal protection. Do you think he'll do that? I think we don't take chances. Sign it. If you don't need it, great. But if you do need it and you don't have it, you're in danger. I signed that too. Okay. Natalie gathered the papers. Everything's filed. Tomorrow morning, Gregory's world changes. Are you ready? Was I ready? I'd been preparing for 6 months. I had $23,400 in cash. I had an apartment. I had a plan. But was I ready to blow up my marriage? To walk away from 8 years? To face whatever came next? Yes, I said. I'm ready. I woke up before my alarm. Gregory was still asleep next to me, snoring softly. I looked at him in the dim light. His face was relaxed, peaceful. He had no idea what was about to happen. Part of me felt guilty. Part of me wanted to wake him up. Explain. Give him a chance to understand. But I remembered Thanksgiving. The humiliation. The control. 8 years of asking permission. I got out of bed quietly. Went to the kitchen. Made coffee for the last time. Gregory came downstairs. Poured himself a cup. Looked at his phone. I've got back-to-back meetings today. Probably won't be home until 8. Okay, what are you doing today? Packing. For Portland. I'm leaving tomorrow to visit my mom, remember, right? Your mom. How long are you staying? 2 weeks, through New Year's. He nodded. Didn't even look up from his phone. Have fun. Tell your mom I said hi. 7:15 a.m. Gregory left for work. I watched through the window as he got into his car. Watched him drive away. Counted to 100 again. Then I grabbed my purse. My laptop bag. The small suitcase I'd packed last night. Walked to the kitchen table. Looked at the envelope sitting there. Inside was the letter I'd written 3 days ago. The letter that explained everything. The letter Gregory would read when he came home tonight and found me gone. I didn't open it. Didn't read it again. Just left it there. Center of the table. Then I walked out of the apartment. Locked the door behind me. Left my keys on the hallway table. And I left. Gregory. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. I'm not coming back. For 8 years, you told me you were taking care of me, providing for me, giving me a good life. But taking care of someone doesn't mean controlling them. Providing for someone doesn't mean making them financially dependent. Giving someone a good life doesn't mean taking away their choices. You gave me an unlimited credit card. You told me to buy whatever I wanted, but every purchase came with a question. Every transaction came with an interrogation. That card wasn't freedom. It was a leash. You know what's funny? That card, the one you used to track me, to control me, to keep me dependent, that's the same card I used to finance my escape. Every gift card I bought, every present I purchased, every expense you approved without questioning. I was building my way out, one transaction at a time. You'll receive divorce papers today at your office. My attorney will be in contact. Don't try to find me. Don't call me. Don't come looking for me. I'm done. Carol Gregory was in a meeting when his assistant knocked on the glass door. Mr. Jensen, there's someone here to see you. I'm in a meeting. He says it's urgent. Legal matter. Gregory excused himself. Walked out to the reception area. A man in a cheap suit was standing there holding a folder. Gregory Jensen, yes, you've been served. The man handed him the folder. Turned around, walked out. Gregory stood there, stared at the folder. Opened it. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Jensen v. Jensen. Filed by Carol Matthews Jensen. His vision blurred. He read it again. Then again, Carol was divorcing him. Carol, his wife. The woman who couldn't even order dinner without his approval. She was divorcing him. He pulled out his phone. Called her cell. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. He dialed the apartment. No answer. She's packing for Portland. She said she was visiting her mom, but something felt wrong. He looked at the divorce papers again. Filed yesterday, December 21st. She'd known. She'd known yesterday morning when he left for work. She'd known at Thanksgiving when he yelled at her about the books. She'd been planning this. Gregory left the office. Didn't tell his assistant. Didn't grab his coat. Just walked out. Gregory burst through the door. Carol. Silence. He walked through the apartment, kitchen, living room, bedroom. Everything looked normal, almost. Then he saw it. The closet, half empty. Her side of the bathroom, cleaned out. Her documents drawer, empty. The desk where she kept her laptop, gone. She'd taken her things, not all of them, just enough. She'd left. He walked back to the kitchen. That's when he saw the envelope. Center of the table. His name written in Carol's handwriting. He opened it. Read the letter. You gave me an unlimited credit card. That's the same card I used to finance my escape. What? He pulled out his phone. Opened the American Express app. Scrolled through transactions. 6 months of statements. Gift cards. Dozens of them. Hundreds of dollars at a time. Mixed in with her normal purchases. Electronics. That MacBook. The photography hobby she never started. Clothes. Thousands of dollars in designer clothes she'd bought in the last few months. He added it up in his head. Roughly, over $40,000 in suspicious purchases, in 6 months, plus the $8,050 from Cyber Monday. The Christmas presents for her family. She'd stolen from him. Used his card to fund her escape. He called his bank. This is Gregory Jensen. Account ending in 4782. I need a detailed statement for the last 6 months. Every transaction. Email it to me now. Of course. Mr. Jensen. 1 moment. 5 minutes later, the email arrived. He opened it. 43 pages of transactions. He went through line by line, highlighting every gift card purchase, every suspicious transaction. Total, $87,400. $87,400. She'd spent almost $90,000 preparing to leave him, and he'd approved every single purchase. Tom, it's Gregory Jensen. I need you now. What's wrong? My wife just served me with divorce papers. And I think she's been stealing from me. Tom Rivera had been Gregory's attorney for 10 years. Corporate law, contracts, mergers. He didn't do divorce. Gregory, you need a family law attorney. She used my credit card. Spent almost $90,000 in 6 months, without telling me. That's theft, right? I can prosecute her for that. Gregory, slow down. Was she an authorized user on the card? Yes, but then it's not theft. She had permission to use the card. You gave her that permission when you added her as an authorized user, but she didn't tell me what she was buying. She doesn't have to. Gregory, you're married. Those are marital expenditures. Unless you can prove she was hiding assets or spending money on an affair or something criminal, you don't have a case. So she can just steal $90,000 and walk away. She didn't steal. She spent marital funds. Which, by the way, you're in Illinois. Community property state. She's entitled to half of everything you earned during the marriage anyway. Gregory felt like he was going to be sick. Half I made that money. I worked 60-hour weeks. Doesn't matter. You were married. She's entitled to half. Gregory, I'm telling you as a friend, hire a good family law attorney today. Because if your wife is smart enough to plan this kind of exit, she's going to come after everything. Gregory had been calling Carol all day, straight to voicemail every time. Finally, at 4 p.m., she answered. Different number. One he didn't recognize. Carol, hello, Gregory. Her voice was calm, cold. Nothing like the woman he'd been married to for 8 years. What did you do? I left. Like the letter said. You used my credit card. You spent $90,000. I spent our money on things a wife would normally buy. Clothes, gifts, household items. You approved every transaction. Gregory, you reviewed every statement. You were planning this. For months, you were hiding it. I wasn't hiding anything. I bought gift cards. I bought clothes. I bought a laptop. You saw all of it. You just didn't think I was smart enough to be planning something. Her words hit like a slap. Carol, come home. We can talk about this. No, I'll change. I'll give you more freedom, more money. Whatever you want. I don't want your money, Gregory. I want my half of our money. Which, according to my attorney, is about $2.2 million. $2. $2 million. Are you insane? Illinois is an equitable distribution state. We were married 8 years. I stopped working at your request. I have 0 assets in my name because you controlled everything. I'm entitled to 50%. The law is very clear. You're not getting a fucking dime. Yes, I am. My attorney is very good. And we have documentation. All of it. Your accounts, your investments, your 401k, the apartment, the cars, everything. Gregory's hands were shaking. You can't do this. You don't have money for lawyers. I have $23,400 in cash. From those gift cards you approved. Plus I already paid my attorney's retainer. Turns out, your unlimited credit card was very useful. I'll fight this. I'll drag it out for years. You'll get nothing. Fight it. Drag it out. You'll spend $200,000 on lawyers and still end up giving me half. Or you can settle now and we both move on. Carol, you know what the best part is? Gregory. You gave me that card to control me. To track me. To make sure I stayed dependent. You thought it was power. You thought you were being generous. She paused. Let the silence hang. But you were so arrogant, so confident that I would never leave, that you never noticed. I was using your own weapon against you. Every gift card, every purchase you approved, I was buying my freedom. With your money. And you signed off on every single transaction. You fucking thank you for the generosity, Gregory. Thank you for making my escape so easy. She hung up. Gregory stood in the empty apartment, holding his phone. Alone. He'd lost her, and she'd won using his own money to do it. I sat in a conference room in downtown Chicago with Natalie on my left, and Gregory's attorney, some expensive shark named David Krause, on my right. Gregory sat across from me. We hadn't been in the same room since I left. He looked older, tired. There were lines around his eyes that hadn't been there before. His suit was still expensive. His watch still cost more than most people's cars. But something had changed. He'd lost weight, lost color, lost that confidence that used to fill every room he walked into. He wouldn't look at me. The mediator cleared her throat. We've reached a settlement agreement. Mr. Jensen has agreed to the following terms. She read from the document. Mrs. Jensen will receive a lump sum payment of $1,145,000, representing her 50% share of liquid marital assets. This includes investment accounts, savings, and Mr. Jensen's bonus compensation earned during the marriage. Gregory's jaw tightened, but he didn't speak. Mrs. Jensen will also receive spousal support in the amount of $6,500 per month, for 48 months for years, representing half the length of the marriage during which she was not employed. That's $312,000 total. Gregory muttered. Yes, the mediator said calmly. In addition, Mr. Jensen will retain the marital residence and both vehicles, but will pay Mrs. Jensen $210,000, representing her 50% interest in the equity of these assets. I did the math in my head. $1,145,000 lump sum. $312,000 in spousal support over 4 years. $210,000 for the apartment and cars. Total, $1,667,000. Not quite the $2.2 million I'd asked for, but close enough, and more money than I'd ever imagined having in my life. Mr. Jensen, do you agree to these terms? Gregory stared at the table. Do I have a choice? His attorney leaned over, whispered something. Gregory sighed. Yes, I agree. Mrs. Jensen. I looked at Natalie. She nodded slightly. I agree. Then we're done. I'll have the final documents drawn up by end of week. Congratulations on reaching an agreement. The mediator stood, left the room. Gregory's attorney packed his briefcase. I'll be in touch about the wire transfer. He left too. Just me, Natalie, and Gregory. Silence. Finally, Gregory spoke. You happy now? I didn't answer right away. Thought about the question. Was I happy? I'm free, I said. That's better than happy. You took half of everything I worked for. I took half of everything we built together. There's a difference. You didn't build anything. You sat at home while I worked 70-hour weeks. I stopped working because you asked me to. I gave up my career because you said you'd take care of me. And you did. Just not the way you promised. Natalie touched my arm. Carol, we should go. Yeah, I stood up, grabbed my bag. Gregory finally looked at me. Was any of it real? The marriage. Did you ever actually love me? I stopped. Turned back. I loved who I thought you were. The man who took me to Napa. The man who said he wanted to take care of me. But that man didn't exist. He was just a performance. A way to control me. I gave you everything. You gave me a cage. A beautiful, expensive cage. But I was still trapped. I walked toward the door. Stopped one more time. Gregory, I hope you find someone who actually wants the life you're offering. But it was never going to be me. I walked out. Natalie followed. We didn't look back. 1 year after I left, December 2023, my apartment in Hell's Kitchen was small. Really small. 450 square feet. One room that served as bedroom, living room, and office. Tiny kitchen. Bathroom with the pink tile I'd learned to love. But it was mine. Every piece of furniture, every book on the shelf, every dish in the cabinet. Mine. I was sitting at my desk, a simple IKEA table I'd built myself, working on a logo design for a small business in Brooklyn. My 4th client this month. I'd started freelancing again in January. 8 months ago. Posted my portfolio online. Reached out to old contacts. Started slow. First month, I made $800. Second month, $2,100. By August, I was averaging $4,000 to $6,000 a month. It wasn't the $850,000 Gregory made, but it was mine, money I earned, work I chose, and it felt like a fortune. The settlement money, $1,355,000 after taxes and legal fees. I'd invested carefully, conservatively. 70% in index funds, 30% in bonds, just like the financial advisor Natalie recommended told me to. It was generating about $45,000 a year in dividends and interest. plus the spousal support, $6,500 a month, $78,000 a year, plus my freelancing, roughly $60,000 a year. Total annual income, approximately $183,000. I was living on about $50,000 of that, saving and reinvesting the rest. My rent was $2,200 a month. I could afford more. Could afford a bigger place, a nicer neighborhood. But I didn't want more. I wanted enough. And this was enough. My phone buzzed. Text from Natalie. Drinks tonight. I'm buying. You bought last time. And I'll buy next time. You saved my life. Least I can do is buy you martinis. I smiled, typed back. 7 p.m. That place in West Village. Perfect. See you there. Natalie and I had drinks once a week now. Sometimes twice. Making up for the 7 years Gregory had stolen. I'd reconnected with other friends too. College roommates. Old design school classmates. People I'd ghosted when Gregory convinced me they were negative or jealous. Turned out, they weren't negative or jealous. They were just people who would have noticed I was being controlled. And Gregory couldn't have that. I'd also started seeing my family again. My mom in Portland. My brother in Seattle. I'd flown out to visit them for 2 weeks in March. Then again in July. Then again in October. Making up for lost time. My mom had cried when she saw me. You look like yourself again. I didn't realize how much you'd changed until now. You look like Carol again. I was Carol again. Carol Matthews. Not Carol Jensen. I'd gone back to my maiden name the day the divorce was finalized. I was at Whole Foods on a Saturday afternoon in October when I saw him. Gregory. He was in the produce section, picking through avocados, looking at his phone. He hadn't seen me yet. I could have turned around, left, avoided the whole interaction, but I didn't. I walked up to him. Hi, Gregory. He looked up, startled. Carol, how are you? He set down an avocado. I single quotes him. Fine, you. Good, really good. We stood there awkwardly. Other shoppers moving around us. You look different, he said. Different how? I don't know. Lighter, happier. I am. More silence. Listen, he said finally. I wanted to say I didn't realize. Back then, what I was doing. I thought I was taking care of you. But I see now that I was just controlling you. It might have been the first genuine thing he'd said to me in years. Thank you for saying that. Does it matter? Me saying it now. I thought about it. It matters that you see it. I don't know if it changes anything. But it matters. He nodded. Looked down at his hands. Did you really need to take half of everything? And there it was. The real Gregory. Still underneath. Yes, I said simply. I did. Because I earned it. Not by working at your company. But by giving up 8 years of my career. By isolating myself from friends and family because you didn't like them. By asking permission to buy shampoo. I earned every dollar of that settlement. I never asked you to give up your career. Yes, you did. You just made it sound like a gift. You don't need to work. Let me take care of you. You made dependence sound like love, and I fell for it. Gregory's face hardened. You know what? I tried to apologize. I tried to be decent. But you're never going to let this go, are you? You're never going to admit that maybe I was just trying to give you a good life that you controlled. Gregory, do you know what I do now? I don't. I'm a freelance designer again. I work from my apartment. I make about $60,000 a year. I live in a 450 square foot studio in Hell's Kitchen. I shop at Target. I take the subway. Sounds like a huge step down from what you had with me. It's the best life I've ever had. Because it's mine. Every choice is mine. Every dollar is mine. Every decision is mine. I'd take this studio apartment and $60,000 a year over your penthouse and unlimited credit card any day of the week. Then why did you take half my money in the divorce? Because it wasn't your money. It was our money. And I took what I was entitled to. But Gregory, I'm not living off that settlement. I invested it. It's my safety net, my security. So I never have to depend on anyone ever again. I picked up my shopping basket. I hope you're happy. I really do. I hope you find someone who wants what you're offering. But it's never going to be control disguised as generosity. Not with anyone who has any self-respect. I started to walk away. Carol, I turned back. Do you hate me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said honestly, I don't hate you. I just don't think about you at all anymore. And I walked away. That night, my apartment. I sat on my bed, a full-size mattress I'd bought on sale at Bob's Discount Furniture, with my laptop and a glass of wine. Opened my journal. The one I'd started keeping in January. Started writing. December 22nd, 2023. 1 year ago today. I left 1 year ago. I walked out of an apartment I didn't own. Away from a man who thought he owned me, with 3 suitcases and $23,400 in cash. Today, I have a studio apartment that's mine, a freelance design business that's growing $2 million invested for my future friends who actually know me, a relationship with my family, a dog. Gregory always said no to dogs. My name back, my life back. People ask me if I regret it, if I miss the good life, the nice apartment, the expensive restaurants, the designer clothes. I tell them the truth. I don't miss any of it, because none of it was mine. It was his, controlled by him, approved by him, given to me as long as I stayed small and quiet and obedient. That wasn't a good life. That was a comfortable prison. The apartment I live in now is 450 square feet. I can touch both walls if I stretch my arms out. The bathroom has pink tile from 1987. The refrigerator is older than I am, and I've never been happier, because it's mine. Every choice, every purchase, every decision, mine. Gregory gave me an unlimited credit card to control me. He thought it was power. He thought it was generosity. But he was so arrogant that he never saw what I was doing. I used his own weapon against him. Used his money to finance my freedom. And that's the difference between control and power. Control is what you force on other people. Power is what you take back for yourself. I took my power back. 1 gift card at a time, and I'm never giving it away again. If you're reading this, if you recognize yourself in my story, if your partner controls your money, questions your purchases, convinced you to stop working, isolated you from friends and family, please listen to me. That's not love. That's financial abuse, and you can leave. It's scary, it's hard, but it's possible. Start small. Open a secret bank account. Save $20 a week if that's all you can manage. Talk to a divorce attorney. First consultations are usually free. Talk to a forensic accountant. And if your abuser gave you a credit card, use it strategically. Gift cards, small cash amounts. Build your escape fund. It took me 6 months to save enough to leave. 6 months of playing a role. 6 months of pretending everything was fine while I planned my exit. But I did it. And you can too. Financial abuse is real abuse. Just because there are no bruises doesn't mean it's not violence. Take your power back. Take your life back. You deserve to be free.